Hi guys, hope everyone's doing well. It's been a while since my last recap, so I thought I'd try to stay consistent with this weekly stuff. So I'll do a recap of my trade yesterday, which is from Friday, end of the week. Not really much happening, as you can kind of see from price. If I just get this most recent one in the frame, you can see for this week, since Wednesday last week, we kind of created this range. So about a week and a half, we're kind of staying in this range. Now, there was no kind of crazy reaction from any news that pulled us out of this range, so I really wasn't expecting for us to come outside into these sort of lower extremes where we had these single prints. So this is a zone I was watching for a reaction, but for the time being, just kind of looking at this. For the time being, just kind of looking at this, you can see we're still in this larger distribution where we have this low volume node where we've had several kind of, so we kind of broke down on Monday, came up and held, and you can see sellers get trapped here by looking at the delta taper, volume taper there. Same thing kind of happened again. Now, if we sort of look at sort of positioning, right, you can see so coming into sort of Globex, obviously the market's in balance, we know that, right? So you just look at the weekly VWAP, you can see we're holding above prior week VWAP, and you can just see we're in a balanced distribution here. So coming into the RTH session, we were at the weekly extreme, so I'm really looking to go long from somewhere here, if you just look at this. But then kind of, if we just sort of dive in a little bit deeper, you can see inventory for the Globex session is all short. So we had this long liquidation. So inventory is short because, you know, most of the sort of volume traded was below the settlement price from yesterday. But something I've noticed is we had this volume taper at the lows where we had sellers trapped here, and we kind of closed, Globex closed above the point of control. So there's a lot of short covering taking place here. You can see when we closed at the low, we actually took the stops of these previous periods, these TPO periods. We kind of took those stops. So I'm expecting some continuation of short covering. So with that being said, coming into ITH, I'm not really expecting the market to push below this level. So I'm just expecting for short covering to continue and potentially continue long, because now that we've taken out the stops from these periods, the thought is, right, can we continue and come up and take these stops and this one here where you can kind of see this high volume node. So the thought is, can they continue, maybe test it. I would always wait for that test to the edge of this distribution, and then continue higher. And you can see here wholesale buying is defending this level with shorts failing multiple times. If you look at the execution VWAPs, so you can see here in Globex, these candles obviously represent aggressive buying and selling. So you can see here selling coming in extreme here, volume tapering, as you can see there. So as we come back in, same thing, same sort of thing I'm looking for here at the VWAP extremes at the 2.5 standard deviation. VWAP's fairly balanced, so we're looking to come up here, and that would be, I wouldn't really target those would be your first kind of stops to target. I'll just show you the execution. I was trailing my stop, and then I messed this trade up big time. I mean, my entry was great, but yeah, I just messed up the trailing with my trailing stop, and I was targeting sort of this area here, around the 69s. Yeah, here's what it is. Something I have got to get better at. And then looking at the kind of order flow, you can see here. So kind of what I look for in this footprint chart is very simple. I'm looking for an imbalance and then a hold of that imbalance and pop higher. So you can see here we had this tapering, price sort of created an imbalance. However, the candles closed firmly low, so I'm not really expecting longs just yet. Here we kind of We then traded lower. Large sellers got trapped there. Point of control and volume at the lows. This is what I do like to see, then followed by an imbalance. So I was waiting to see what happened. They canned this area where we had this previous imbalance, and we've had some imbalance here and here. Can this now hold? What happened? We've ripped through, candle closed right at the low, no wick, so that's not a sign to buy. And you can see with this imbalance here, this held and then pushed us further. Then we had a ripped through, created this imbalance. A lot of trading here. Now this is where the absorption really kicked in, right? You can see here, sharp imbalance down with these zero prints. Lots of trading happening here. Sellers getting trapped. You can look at the cumulative delta that's here. You can see large sellers trapped at this level. So we had that imbalance down. Then on the next candle, we had that imbalance up, right? Volume taper here, loads of zero prints, and then once the market kind of pushed higher, we kind of came back into this area and just went aggressively traded up, right? Really aggressive price action here, lots of zero prints here. And what you can see is as we come down into this sort of area, you can see there's just a volume taper here. So that's my lots of low volume here, finished auctions here. So this is my signal to entry. We've had that absorption. Now aggressive buys, you can see on the volume profile, you can see on the delta, pushing price high. So once price kind of got into this area and was sticking, this is my entry stops for the time being, just down there. Then obviously you trail as you go along. Then if we just look at, just kind of for some extra confirmation, you can look at the VIX here. So looking at the VIX, this is prior to 9:30. So you can see on the VIX, right? If I just shoot, so you can see we're kind of inside this distribution, right? This is the lower end of that distribution, right? Where you can kind of see prior days, these value area highs here. This kind of area, this is your main distribution. So we're coming into the midpoint. We're consolidating at this midpoint, which means that we're accepting. So we're going to accept to the lower side. There's not really any sharp rejection, so I'm just expecting continuation lower. So once that continuation lower happens, obviously VIX is inversely correlated to NQ. So if VIX is going down, NQ is going up. So you can see here coming into 9:30, you can see there the 9:30 is kind of up here, but you can see here twice buyers attempted to go above VWAP, got trapped. So I'm not expecting anything from there. I'm not expecting us to come to the extreme. So once I see us kind of hold below VWAP, I'm confident in shorts. And as I said with NQ, you can see here, once I see that VIX can't go above VWAP, same thing happens here. It's at the same timing, 9:45. If you just look at the VIX, 9:45, you can see we got that push lower, so NQ goes higher when NQ is balanced. So yeah, hopefully that all made sense, guys. Take care, and I'll see you guys next week.